Hi guys, it is Dolly Dodson here, fitness professional, IFBB pro, bodybuilder, and someone who's been a fitness enthusiast for a number of years. So in Barbados, the landscape as it relates to fitness is one that I would say is developing. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, we did not have as many fitness facilities and gyms as we are seeing these days. And I think this is certainly a positive thing to see the establishment of more offerings as it relates to fitness in relation to the facilities we're seeing, and also boot camps and outdoor workout groups. I think Barbadians are becoming a lot more health conscious, and I think we're certainly heading in the right direction where this is concerned. How did I get into fitness? Well, in my formative years at primary school and secondary school, as a matter of fact, I was heavily involved in a wide variety of sports, namely track and field, football, and a little bit of cricket. And at the time when I graduated from secondary school and I went on to university, I was not really able to participate in the sports that I was fond of, given my schedule due to the degree I was doing at the time, which involved lots of labs, plus the tutorial classes and the lectures. And it wasn't acceptable to me in my mind at that time not to be physically active in some way. So despite not being able to engage in the sports I had excelled in at secondary school, I decided I would join the gym just so I could keep fit and be physically active. And in my first year of joining the gym at university, I had, I guess, what you would call something of a transformation. And all of my peers and persons who utilized the gym at the time were quite surprised and enthused by what I had been able to achieve with my body in about 8 months or so. And that led to persons asking me, to help them train and to give them advice. And from there, after helping quite a few people improve their life and their health and their appearance through my guidance in the gym, it occurred to me that I might be able to make a career out of this thing. So at that point, I had changed my major, which was at the time physics and math, with the intention of pursuing a career in engineering. I changed it to a degree in management, and I pursued certifications in health and wellness, fitness, personal training, etc. So I got involved in bodybuilding quite reluctantly, to be honest. In 2014, I had been training hard for several years at that point in time and keeping myself in reasonably good shape. And due to peer pressure from, my contemporaries, they were just bugging me, saying, listen, man, the way you carry yourself, you look as though you could diet for 1 week and step on the bodybuilding show, step on the bodybuilding stage and win a show. And in the beginning, I was reluctant because I had always envisioned bodybuilding to be, like a pageant. It was pageant-esque. Coming from a background where sports were judged much more objectively, if you throw in javelin, the person that throws the javelin the farthest is the winner. There's not a subjective element to determining who wins. But I felt as though bodybuilding was much like pageantry, where it was just a little too subjective for me. But then, with my colleagues being relentless and me realizing that I was living the lifestyle in any event and spending all the money on the groceries to eat the highest quality foods and spending the money on the supplements and the gym memberships and all this, I said, man, maybe I could give it a try. And so I did my first bodybuilding show in 2014, and that was the Darcy Beckles Classic, a show put on by Mr. Roger Boyce. And I came second in my first men's physique bodybuilding show. I would say, dare I say, controversially. And then I went on to do a regional show in Trinidad, the Sports World Classic, a few months after that, and competed against about 19 guys from across the region, and I won the show there. So after winning that show, I was encouraged to participate in the national bodybuilding competition here in Barbados. And I wanted redemption too from that second place I took. So I went and I did that show and I won my division, but I didn't win the overall. got beaten by the same guy that beat me at the Darcy Battles Classic. But that qualified me for CAC, and I went on to CAC. I won my division, I won the overall, and I earned my pro card. What challenges do I face as a bodybuilder? Well, for certain, one of the main challenges bodybuilders will face is as it relates to sponsorship, especially if you are an IFBB pro, because all of the competitions I can engage in are overseas. There are no pro shows here in Barbados. The closest one is in Puerto Rico. So clearly there are lots of financial considerations as it relates to the finances for airfare, accommodation, in addition to your typical finances that you need to prepare for a show, you know, your groceries, your supplements, and so on. So sponsorship certainly is the biggest challenge I have faced as a bodybuilder. Well, certainly as it relates to me as a bodybuilder, I haven't really been active as a bodybuilder for the last few years. So despite COVID terminating the possibility of a lot of shows, that didn't really affect me. But what I have been doing with my pro status is I have been doing workshops in different territories with amateur athletes and giving them insight as to what life is like being a pro and how they can transition from an amateur to being a pro. So certainly COVID did put a halt on that. The uncertainty in the environment as it relates to perhaps your finances, job security, and all these things certainly does have a major impact on people and their psyche and their ability to commit to a consistent regimen in the gym, and we call all these things limiting factors. So I would say that COVID did increase the number of limiting factors for success as it relates to persons being able to pursue a fitness journey. What advice would I give to a person who wants to pursue bodybuilding? Well, I would say for certain, you're going to have to get yourself into a place mentally where you have great discipline. Because what is required of a bodybuilder as it relates to preparing for a show, the commitment you have to give, you're not going to be able to make that commitment without a certain amount of discipline. I would encourage any person who's thinking about it though, to consider at least getting their feet wet by doing a show prep, because certainly it will allow you to potentially extract your best self, being able to go through that process, be as disciplined as you need to be, and commit to seeing it through all the way to the end. When you get on stage, you will discover things about yourself that you did not even know you were capable of.
Hi, I'm Caroline Gittins, a quarantine officer with the Veterinary Services Department of the Ministry of Agriculture. There's a disease called African swine fever that is affecting domestic and wild pigs worldwide. Even though it is not harmful to humans, it has the potential to wipe out every pig in Barbados. If you or your family members are traveling to Barbados, apply for a meat permit from the Veterinary Services Department. This permit tells you if it is safe to bring pork products from the country that you intend to travel to. Purchase products only in their original packaging that are clearly labeled with the inspection stamp. That means no bacon or sausages from the deli in the supermarket or from a butcher's shop. Do not cook it, since the disease can survive high temperatures. When you reach Barbados, we ask that you declare all your meat products to the customs officer. We need your help in keeping Barbados safe from African swine fever.
Hi, my name is Dr. Ronette Boyne, and we in the Ministry of Agriculture are very concerned about the African swine fever. So what is ASF and how is it spread? ASF is a viral disease that can severely impact our local pig industry on an economic level. ASF can be spread in two main ways: directly, that is contact between healthy, sick and dead animals, or even tissue which comes from an infected animal, or indirectly, like garbage containing infected meat or even eating swill. They can also get it from contaminated premises, vehicles, equipment, tools, or anything that came into contact with an infected animal. Clinical signs of this disease include reddening of the skin on the tips of the ears, snout, tail, extremities, chest and abdomen, heavy discharge from the eyes or nose, loss of appetite and weakness, vomiting, high temperature, diarrhea, respiratory distress, or an increase in mortality. If you suspect ASF on your farm, notify the veterinary services as soon as possible. by calling 535-0220 or 0221 or 0226. These simple measures are your best protection. Protect your investment. Help us keep African swine fever out of Barbados.
Hi, my name is Kirk Mavel, and I'm the owner and operator of Body Shapers Personal Training Services. I'm a personal trainer with 16 years experience in the business. My opinion on the fitness industry currently in Barbados is we have a very high level of instruction available to us, and you can get this at several different gyms around the island. We have a lot of gyms focusing a lot on certification as well as getting things done right, and I think the industry is playing a very significant role in the health of a nation that at this point in time really needs it. I first got involved seriously in fitness when I joined a martial art gym, to be honest. This was the Unified Martial Art Academy many years ago, doing kickboxing. Fell in love with it, competed locally, regionally, and internationally. Was one of the first professional kickboxers here in Barbados, and that kind of catapulted me into instructing as well as into fitness in general, where I taught at the FMA martial art facility as a Muay Thai instructor. Fitness has always been a passion of mine, and helping people achieve their goals, whether it be weight loss, weight gain, or just generally building their self-esteem based on their physical appearance. That has always been a passion of mine. I worked for a bit as a freelance personal trainer, home-to-home visits, that sort of stuff. And it quickly became apparent to me that there were a lot of people out there who needed instruction on a professional level. People had ideas about exercising, had ideas about nutrition, but they weren't quite sure, and they needed some person who can put that all together for them. And not many people were able to afford, to have a personal trainer come at your home and, take you through all the necessary things that you would need to know. So my idea was to marry the gym environment with a personal training instructing service, and hence why Body Shapers Personal Training Services was started about 15 years ago. I usually start my mornings here at 5 a.m. I'm usually greeted by a few of the early birds. People usually like to get the gym side of their day out of the way. So I have a few clients early on in the morning. That usually progresses into a landslide of individuals because the option of being able to do it yourself or having somebody help you has always been a popular one. So I'm bombarded by individuals right throughout the day. Can't complain. Having a situation where the pandemic took a real toll on businesses, I was able to sustain myself with my long-term customers that I've had since the inception. So I was thankful for that. And I usually get a little reprieve during the mid-morning, where I then myself take care of my own physical needs as it relates to training. Train twice a day, maybe 3 days a week, and then once the other 2 days. So yeah, that's usually a typical day for me, packed with food I don't like. The usual challenges that plague any small business owner is sustainability, because the longevity of a business isn't always determined by the size that you grow to, but how long you can actually be in existence. And I found that it has been challenging during the times where obviously pandemic was strongly upon us and numbers were limited, this being not considered a essential service. So we were limited to what other means we could find, Zoom. I even did like equipment rental and what's not, just to keep going, because I knew that this too would pass and the doors would be open fully again. And yeah, I think that was probably my biggest hurdle to date. For anyone who is considering opening a fitness facility, there are a lot of things that you need to consider. You need to consider whether your product is going to be one that is going to be accessible to everyone, and knowledge comes into play there. So in terms of being able to deal with different individuals, people who are doing rehab, people who are looking to lose weight, even prenatal training. You know, I've trained quite a few mothers here in the gym, so it's a lot of information to have at your fingertips if you're going to be looking to open a business. My advice would be market research, equipment research as it relates to what you can get that you're going to get the most out of, because it makes no sense stocking your place up with things that, you know, are single function use. If you have a small facility like me, everything has to be multifunctional. And then it's all about getting out there and marketing your product and making sure that people know you're out there and know what you're offering, and you know, the rest should take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Caroline Gittins, a quarantine officer with the Veterinary Services Department of the Ministry of Agriculture. There's a disease called African swine fever that is affecting domestic and wild pigs worldwide. Even though it is not harmful to humans, it has the potential to wipe out every pig in Barbados. If you or your family members are traveling to Barbados, apply for a meat permit from the Veterinary Services Department. This permit tells you if it is safe to bring pork products from the country that you intend to travel to. Purchase products only in their original packaging that are clearly labeled with the inspection stamp. That means no bacon or sausages from the deli in the supermarket or from a butcher's shop. Do not cook it, since the disease can survive high temperatures. When you reach Barbados, we ask that you declare all your meat products to the customs officer. We need your help in keeping Barbados safe from African swine fever.
Hi, my name is Dr. Ronette Boyne, and we in the Ministry of Agriculture are very concerned about the African swine fever. So what is ASF and how is it spread? ASF is a viral disease that can severely impact our local pig industry on an economic level. ASF can be spread in two main ways: directly, that is contact between healthy, sick and dead animals, or even tissue which comes from an infected animal, or indirectly, like garbage containing infected meat, or even eating swill. They can also get it from contaminated premises, vehicles, equipment, tools, or anything that came into contact with an infected animal. Clinical signs of this disease include reddening of the skin on the tips of the ears, snout, tail, extremities, chest and abdomen, heavy discharge from the eyes or nose, loss of appetite and weakness, vomiting, high temperature, diarrhea, respiratory distress, or an increase in mortality. If you suspect ASF on your farm, notify the veterinary services as soon as possible by calling 535-0220 or 0221 or 0226. These simple measures are your best protection. Protect your investment. Help us keep African swine fever out of Barbados.
Hi guys, so you've been working out some time now, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, and we can now classify you as intermediate. But how can you take your fitness journey to the next level and maybe advance to becoming advanced? Here are some things to consider. As a beginner, you would have focused heavily on your form, especially for persons who would have utilized strength training as their approach to physical activity. You would have worked on perfecting your form, you would have emphasized compound movements, and you would have tried to progressively overload those movements and get stronger. Persons who perhaps do cardiovascular activities, more specifically for their physical form of exercise, would have been setting targets for themselves and working towards getting better and better each week, each month, maybe longer runs if you're a runner, or perhaps a better performance if you're someone that does things that are sports specific, or if you're someone that does stuff like aerobics and Zumba, you'll be lasting longer each class, doing more, improving your flexibility, your plyometric efforts, and these types of things. But now that you're at the intermediate stage and you've kind of worked your way around understanding movement and you've more or less mastered it, how can we take it to the next level? Well, we continue with making sure that we can progressively overload or progressively increase the challenge or the stimulus that we have chosen for our physical activity. This is where things like volume become a major consideration. So you may have started doing bench press once a week, 3 sets of 10. At this level now, we're looking to increase the work we do. So you may want to bench press 2, maybe 3 times a week if it is an area that you're really hoping to emphasize. You want to get more reps in, more sets in, more frequency. And the same can apply to your cardiovascular activities. Maybe you used to do a 5K run twice a week. You can probably look at upping that to 3, 4, 5 times a week, and just modifying our approach by ensuring that we can do more and more work so we can continue to challenge and stimulate our bodies. As it relates to nutrition, of course, now we'll be paying more attention to the micronutrient needs than we may have been doing originally. We've got ourselves into a good place where we've eliminated junk food, we've increased our water intake, we include vegetables and fruits. Now we might want to start looking at things like supplementation in a more serious way, digestive enzymes, omega-3s, and these types of things. So I hope you guys find these tips useful. Looking forward to seeing you at the advanced level.